Shalom, shalom, shalom. What's going on, tribe? What's going on, world? You know, we come in here with just a little book from the 1700s that was recorded through the Smithsonian Institution, Library of Congress, whatever. So it's basically official with the information that's in the book. So we're gonna read and touch up on the book, whatever we got to touch up on. It has basically speaking on all the tribes here, mainly in the Creeks, mostly of supposedly called the Creeks, but mainly in the southeast of the United States. In the book so deep, this is just like the contents of it, the introduction, whatever. You have the classification of the southeastern tribes, the Kasabo, their history, the Gaule Indians, and the Yamasee. That's what we're going to get into today, with the Gaule and the Yamasee Indians also. It has also the Muskogee, but that also is the Kasabo also. Muskogee is mainly everybody kind of like that's on this list, mostly everybody here. Yeah. So this is mainly like the Muskogean stocks. So I'm gonna go down to we're gonna get into it, to the Gaule Indians. See what they had going on back in the day. You know, what is this? Okay, here we go. The Gaule Indians and the Yamasee. The coast of what is now the state of Georgia, from Savannah River as far as St. Andrews Sound, was anciently occupied by a tribe or related tribes, which, whatever doubts may remain regarding the Muskogean people. Oh, I'm sorry, regarding the people just. Oh, I messed all the way up. I'm sorry. Salakia. Whatever doubts may remain regarding the people just considered undoubtedly belong to the Muskogean stock. This region was known to the Spaniards as the province of Gaule, pronounced Wale. But most of the Indians living there finally became merged with a tribe known as the Yamasee, and it will be well to consider the two together. From a letter of one of the Temuka missionaries, we learned that the Gaule province was called Yahawah by the Temuka Indians, and this is evidentially the Yupaha of which De Soto was in search when he left the Appalachian. So this right here, this Yupaha, I want everybody to research that. That Yupaha, it mainly that's basically the people from those, like when you research on it, they like Mayans. Yapaha. They came from like Mexico, Panama, Honduras, up in that area somewhere. So, and then they traveled a long time ago through the Caribbean and everything. So I understand that they do have some African family members or whatever. But I know in Mayan history, the Mayans, they also stated that they left a lot of their people when they traveled They left a lot of their people in the western world. So I don't know if it could be something of that nature. I don't know, but I'm gonna continue. Of the Indians taken in Nep Nep Nap Nap Bituka, I don't know, says Elvis, the treasurer Juan Gayton, brought a youth with him who stated that he did not belong to that country, but to one afar in the direction of the sun's rising, from which he had been a long time absent, visiting other lands. That is name that it that its name was Yahawah, and was governed by a woman. The town she lived in being of astonishing size, and many neighboring lords, her tributaries, her yeah, y'all gotta mind my reading. Tributaries, whatever. Some of whom gave her clothing, others gold in quantity. As the description of the town and its queen corresponds somewhat with confectionery, confectionery. I can't say that word. You know what I'm saying? Confectionery, confectionery. I can't. Perhaps Yabaha or Yabaha or Yubaha was a general name for the Muskogean peoples rather than a specific destination of Gaule. You see that? Of Gaule. The towns of Gaule lay almost entirely between St. Catherine's and St. Andrew Sounds. An early Spanish document refers to the 22 chiefs of Gaule. Mendez says there were 40 villages of Indians within 3 or 4 leagues between St. Catherine Sound and the Savannah, where the province of Orista or Ecama, Escama, the later Casabo began there, appeared to have been few permanent settlements. So that Orista, that's Edisto also. That's my mother and the tribe, their side. South of St. Andrews Sound began the Temuca province when Governor Pedro de Ibarra, whoever, visited the tribes of this coast. He made 3 stops at or near the islands of St. Simon's, Sapelo, and St. Catherine's, respectively, and at each place the chiefs assembled to hold councils with him. It may reasonably be assumed that the chiefs mentioned at each of these councils were those living nearer that particular point than either of the others. In this way, we are able to make a rough division of the towns into 3 groups: northern, central, and southern. Other towns are sometimes referred to with reference to these, so that we may add them to one or the other. Thus, the following towns appear as belonging to the northern group, since synonymous terms being placed in parentheses. Asapo, what that is, Asapo, Ahapo, Chatafo, Casas, Kansas, Kulapa, Gual, Gold, Gal, Old Topolis, Old Taxi, Old Tax, Tefe, Polshai. Boy, this is like going in, ain't it? To Mono, I don't know, but y'all see it. Y'all see it. I'm gonna go ahead on. Asapo, Kalupa, La, Gual, Topolis, Topse, Ukalambala, Ikalugli, I don't know. Unnapla, and whatever are given by Ibarra. Gaule was the name of St. Catherine's Island, but the town was on an arm of a river, which goes out of another, which is on the north bank of the aforesaid port in Santa Elena. In 32 degrees north latitude, Chatafo is mentioned in the narrative of a visit to the Florida missions by the Bishop of Cuba. Coexis is given in the French narratives. Mendez changing it to Cansan. Porsace is located in the island of Gaule. Talomato is described in one place as 2 leagues from Gaule, and in another as the mainland near the bar of Capala, Sapelo. And it is said to have been a place from which one could go to the Tama Indians on the Altama River. Uchelepe is located near Talomato. Wyfosky, I don't know. Wyfosky Fuskini was the name of the town to which the chief Juanulio of Ptolemato retired after the massacre of the friars, and where the other Indians besieged him. Wayo is said to have been 2 leagues by a river behind an arm of the sea, back of the bars of Capella and Canofuya, Sapelo, and St. Catherine's Sounds. Large vessels could come within 1 league of it, and small vessels could reach the town. In the account of the massacre of the missionaries in 1597, Asapo or Asapo is described as in the island of Gaule. Alust allies, Alusti, Owa, Orista, Talapo, all of these names here. Ufalaj, also spelled Ufalij or whatever, Arboi, and Sophilet must be classified as belonging properly to the Kasabo. The first 5 on the basis of the information quoted above from Ibarra, and the last from its association with Euphilage. Arboi may be intended as already suggested for Ahoibai, although mentioned in connection with the northern group of towns. They left the Kasabo country and settled in the southern group, where Talapo and Euphilage are frequently referred to. The central towns were Aleguafa, and all of these names. I'm not about to do that. But all of these names that y'all see. Chiefs called Phil, Taka, all of these names are also mentioned. The last 2 distinct persons in spite of the close resemblance between their names. All of these towns and chiefs expect so and so, all these names. So these is basically all the names that's got to do with Gullah. But they saying that the Gullah is a Muskogean people. The last mention was on the mainland, not more than 6 leagues from Tallahassee. I guess that's part of Tallahassee, kind of. was given account of a visit to Florida. Okay, we're going to rough draft through this. And island people known as Selechis were represented at the council with Ibarra held in this country. They appear to have been Muskogean and seem to have had numerous relatives in the province of Gaule. In one place mentioned is made of a chief of Salachis in Tulafina. In another, we are told that the Temuca chief of San Pedro laid the blame for uprising of 1597 of the people of Telefonia and the Selechis. An Indian prisoner stated that the Indians of Kasabo, and the Selachis and those of Telefonia and of St. Helena had said that they would kill them friars, and that each chief should kill his own friar. Elsewhere, the chief of Chukalagite and the chief of the Selachis are mentioned together with the statement that they were not Christians. Y'all hear that? So they were saying that they were not Christians. So this basically is some of the chiefs of the other tribes, and some of them are Kasabo chiefs. Most of all of them are Kasabo chiefs, but you got some Geechie chiefs in there too. They'll mention it later throughout the book. But I just want everybody to focus too how the statement was that we were not Christians. It is said that the heir of Talamato joined the other Salachis to kill Fray de Corpora. In another place, Telefina and the Salachis are both referred to as if they were provinces of Tama. The Tama were, as we have seen, an inland people who probably spoke Hittite. Hittite. The southern group of towns consisted of Alaku, Alagi, whatever. Y'all see these names? I'm not going to do that, but all of these names here, the southern group of the towns. All of these names except 2Q are from Ibarra's letter. Ibarra's letter was, I guess, the dude who was writing the letters back to England. Kangu presents a puzzling problem, for it is referred to several times as Gaule province, but identified by the Franciscan missionaries with the province of Ikapi, which was certainly Temuca. Until further light is thrown upon the matter, I prefer to consider the two as distinct. The name has a Muskogean rather than a Temuca aspect. Q is given in an account of a visit which the Bishop of Cuba made to Florida in 1606 to confirm the Indians. In addition to the towns which can be classified in this manner, albeit a rough one, several towns and town chiefs are mentioned which are known to belong to the Gaule province, but cannot be located more accurately. They are the following. So these right here that everybody see, these are the following town, Gaule, Gullah, provinces that you could see. And I can't pronounce all of that. I'm gonna try to pronounce. I'm gonna try to pronounce it. I'm gonna try. Let's go. And I'm gonna do it in the Gullah tongue, even though I ain't Gullah. This Kuso and Geechie tongue, but we gonna try it. Arganti. I don't know. Alalapato. I can't even do it, but we're gonna leave it there. But y'all see it. All of these was Gullah towns. Tamfua. Now I know that's in Florida, you know. Olakapa, that's Florida. The chief of each Gaule town before the town of Miko, a circumstance which, as has been known, has important bearings in classifying the people in the Muskogean linguistic group. It appears also that there was a head Miko or Miko mayor for the whole Gaule province. In 1596, a chief whom the Spaniards called Don Juan laid claim to the title of head Miko of Gaule. There is some confusion regarding him, for the text seems to identify him with a Timucua chief. However, this claim elicited from the, I probably got that wrong. You know, I ain't go to college, cool. Just know what I know. Elected from the Spanish crown a request for an explanation of the term, to which Governor Mendez de Cano replied. So he replied to him, in regard to your majesty's instructions to report about the pretension of the Casquique Don Juan to become head Miko, and to explain what that title or dignity is. He informs me himself that the title of head Miko means a kind of king of the land, recognized and respected as such by all the caciques in their towns. And whenever he visits one of them, they all turn out to receive him and feast him. And every year they pay him a certain tribute of pearls and other articles made of shells according to the land. And y'all hear that last one? He might be that Gaule chief, because a certain tribute of pearls and articles made of shells according to the land. That they do that little. It's something like it's like you go where the Gullahs be at. It's like they do like a little shell thing. They made it like a shell ring, something like a shell ring. You can look that up too. They got it on the plantations. R.I.P. my dog Herb G. Yeah, my dog Herb G. He's a Gullah. He's buried on one of the plantations. That's how you know that's they real land, because it's a plantation where white people stay, but they bury him inside of that plantation, which is on Lighthouse Road. Yeah, R.P. my dog Cole too. You know what I mean? But Herb, he is buried inside a lighthouse. You know what I mean? So let's go on. Gaule was thus a kind of confederacy with the head chief, more closely centralized in that particular than the Creek Confederacy. It does not appear from the Spanish records whether the position of head Miko was hereditary or elective. So basically, was he kin to them or was he elected? But the later is indicated. When the Spaniards first came to Gullah, the head Miko seems to have lived in Talamoto, and mention is made of one Don Julio. Don Julio. What's up, Don Julio? That's what I should call the Gullah people. I'm gonna start calling all y'all Don Julio. Whose turn it was to be head Miko of that province. The friars are said to have brought on the massacre of 1597 by depriving him of this office, but they appear to have conferred it upon one of the same town. So the friar trying to say that he about to chop, y'all about to get see, he about to get to it, but they saying that he trying to the friars brought on the massacre by depriving him of his chiefly duties. You know what I mean? They're trying to deprive the Gullah Geechie of his duties. Mm-hmm. The real Gullah Geechee ain't going for that. You know that. You already know that. There. Okay, hold on. Confer at the same time. I done lost my place. All right, I'm gonna start. The friars are said to have brought on the massacre of 1597 by depriving him of this office, but they appear to have conferred it upon one of the same town. There were, hold on, yeah, there were, however, 3 or 4 chiefs of particular estimation, which are spoken of sometimes as lords of different parts of the country. And when the Spaniards organized a native army to punish those who had killed the friars, it was placed in charge of the chief of Asio, who was head of the southern group of towns. In the narrative, which tells of a visit made to the missions in 1606 by the Bishop of Cuba, Don Diego, chief of Talaxe and Asio, is represented as overlord or head Miko of the entire province. Gualde may perhaps be a form of Gaule, and the information obtained regarding the people there by the Allion colonists applicable rather than the Gaule Indians than the Casabo. So they're trying to say that Gualde may perhaps be a form of Guale, but I know it was a dude with the last name Gualde. So you know, it could get confusing, man. We gotta bust this thing down. You know, I'm still studying, but you see, where that Guardate may perhaps be a form of Guar, and the information obtained regarding the people there by the Allion colonists applicable rather to the Guar Indians than the Casabo. Okay, so basically I had to reread that. So they saying that basically that Guardate that's supposed to be to the Guar people, to the Guar Indians rather than the Casabo, which I am a Casabo. I'm a Casabo chief, you know what I mean? I love my Casabo Kuso tribe. You got to ride for your tribe, you know? In the narratives of the French Huguenot colony of 1562, as we have seen, Gaule appears as quad or odd, and a neighboring town or tribe is mentioned called Coquits. And these are the names that we was reading earlier. All that the French have to tell us about these two I have given, and I have recorded Mendez visit to Gaule and the settlement of Jesuit missionaries there and at St. Helena in his letter to Mendez quoted above. Rogel says, Brother Domingo Augustine was in Gaule more than a year, and he learned that language so well that he even wrote a grammar, and he died. And Father Sedino was there 14 months, and the Father Vice Provincial 6, Brother Francisco 10, and Father Almo 4, and all of them have not accomplished anything. Had the grammar of Augustine been preserved, we would not today consider the labors of these early missionaries by any means fruitless and may yet come to light. So basically they saying if they would have basically kept up with the grammar of Augustine, the dude who wrote them back, the dude who was the missionary or whatever, he recorded the Gullah language, the Gaule language, and they say he even learned it so well. Where we at? Okay, in 1573, a Spanish officer named Aguilar and 14 or 15 soldiers were killed in the province of Gullah, Geechie. In 1578, Captain Otagalona or something, and other officials were killed in the Gullah town of Osoboki or something like that. Or somebody could go and do the research on all these names, you know? We could bust this thing open. After this field had been abandoned by the Society of Jebus, I say Jebus because that really means Zeus. It was entered by the Franciscans. According to Barcia, missions were opened in Gullah by them in 1594, but unpublished documents seem to set a still earlier date. One of these would place the beginning of the work as far back as 1587. In 1597, there were 5 missionaries in this province, and the work seemed to be of the utmost promise. When a rebellion broke out against the innovators, the mission statements were burned, and all but one of the friars killed. The following account contained in Barcia's, Florida, is from clerical sources. The friars of, so this is what they wrote. The friars of San Francisco bruised themselves for 2 years in preaching to the Indians of Florida. So San Francisco, I wonder why they always show, like when you go on, pause, Salaki me on this, pause real quick. With that San Francisco thing, like if you go on, you could go on not St. Helena, but the Fusky Island. They got this, and on Hilton Head. They always say San Francisco, then they'll point towards San Francisco. But I'll be like, why do they point towards that way? Like, what do that? I used to think they be talking about the San Francisco, the city, but nah, this was one of the early missionaries, one of the colonizers or whatever. So it makes more sense of and with Alion, you got that name Alion. He was another missionary colonizer. They got him on Hilton Head. Let me continue. The friars of San Francisco busied themselves for 2 years in preaching to the Indians of Florida, separated into various provinces. In the town of Talamero or Talamado lived the friar Pedro de Corpora, a notable preacher and deputy of that doctrina, against whom rose the elder son and heir of the chief of the island of Gaule. So he rose, so against whom rose the elder son and the heir of the chief of the island Gaule, who was exceedingly vexed at the reproaches which Father Corpora made to him. So he was like, yo, you better go ahead with all these reproaches, baby. You know what I mean? You keep approaching me, I'm approach something else. So he went on to say, because although a Christian, he lived worse than a Gentile, and he fled from the town because he was not able to endure them. So hold on, I'm gonna look the one. Hold on. in the town of Talamedo, blah, 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 against whom, okay, lived the friar Pedro de Corvo, a notable preacher and a deputy of that doctrina, against whom rose the elder son, and heir of the chief of the island. So basically that friar rose up against the Gaule chief, who was exceedingly vexed at the reproaches which Father Corporal made to him. So the Gaule chief, he was vexed with it. He was tired of it. Because although a Christian, he lived worse than a Gentile. So basically that Gaule chief was converted over to a Christian. He lived worse than a Gentile and fled from the town because he was not able to endure them. So that chief, he fled from that town because he couldn't handle what the father, the so-called, supposedly the friar, was saying. He returned to it within a few days later. Now check how he returned. A few days at the end of he returned to it within a few days at the end of September 1597, bringing many Indian warriors with bows and arrows, their heads or ornamented with great plums, and entering in the night in profound silence. They went to the house where the father lived. Now check, y'all hear that? They went to this house with him and a bunch of other Indians with a warrior clubs. They ready to bash. They about to, yeah, you know how it go down. They about to get down. This unheard, hold on. They went to the house where the father lived. They broke down the feeble doors, found him on his knees, and killed him with an axe. This unheard atrocity was proclaimed in the town, and although some showed signs of regret, most who were as little disturbed. Apparently, as the son of the chief joined him, he said to them the day following, although the friar is dead, he would not have been if he had not prevented us from living as before we were Christians. Y'all heard that? So these were friars that came over here and converted the Gullahs over, converted the Gaule over, converted the Yahawahs over, converted the Gullah Geechies over into what they are into now, like the Christianity. Let us return to our ancient customs, and let us prepare to defend ourselves against the punishment which the governor of Florida will attempt to inflict upon us. And if this happens, it will be as rigorous for this friar alone as if we had finished all, because he will pursue us in the same manner on account of the friar whom we have killed as for all. So this right here, basically they saying that the other friars will pursue him. So they got to continue their mission in so many words. Those who followed him, I wanted to touch on something real quick. So before there was Christians, you see this right here, be prevented, right here at the top, prevented us living as before we were Christians. So before they were Christians, they were, we went to the term, they were Yahawah. There was Yahawah. And these are the Yahawah. You see this word Yahawah. They it's like a Mayan connection, you see. And the SS genealogy exclusive, the trail to Yupaha is Yapaha, the Mayan connection to the Indians of the United States. They question it. It's a little article. This is a highly contentious look by Richard Thornton at the possibility of a trail he found in the Track Rock Gap area of Georgia being the connection to the Mayan of South America. The History Channel premiered its new show, American Unearthed, investigating this very issue. One of the people they interviewed on the show now tells you in his own words how this discovery all came about. So this is something that y'all all could go and research on the Gullah, see if they are the Yahawah, but I don't think it can get any clearer. I believe they are the Yahawah. Just everything adds up. I believe also, like I say, it was like the Mayans say they left a group of people when they traveled to these lands. Those could be some of them some of them tribes over there left in Israel, all over there. They could be part of them people. They could be some of the people we left or that they left, however it go. But I'm gonna get back to it. Okay, let us return to our ancient. Where was Let us return to our ancient customs and let us prepare to defend ourselves against the punishment which the governor of Florida will attempt to inflict. Yep, you know they're going to inflict it upon you. Okay, let's scroll down. Those who followed him in the newly executed deed approved, and they said that it could not be doubted that he would want to take vengeance for one as he would take it for all. See, hold on. Then the barbarian continued. Since the punishment on account of one is not going to be greater than for all, let us restore the liberty of which these friars have robbed us. So they ready to go and kill all the friars. Robbed us with promises, benefits, which we have not seen, in hope of which they wish that those of us who call ourselves Christians experience at once the losses and discomforts. Okay, so they robbed them. They have robbed us with promises of benefits. Y'all hear that? We have not seen, in hope of which they wish that those of us who call ourselves Christians experience at once the losses and discomforts. They take us from us women, leaving us only one, and that in perpetuity. So basically they saying like, yo, they taking our women from us. You know the Gullah is not gonna play about their women. You know, taking our women from us, and then they leaving us only one. So basically they saying they had a bunch of women. Prohibiting us from changing her. They obstruct our dances, banquets, feasts, celebrations, fires, and wars, so that by failing to use them, we lose the ancient and valor and dexterity inherited from our ancestors. They prosecute our old people, calling them witches. Even our labor disturbs them. So even them working disturbs them, since they want to command us to avoid it on some days and be prepared to execute all that they say. Although they are not satisfied, they always reprimand us, injure us, oppress us, preach to us, call us bad Christians, and deprive us of all happiness. See, that's when you get to your ancient ways and you come back to your Hebrew customs, color people. You know what I mean? You got to put that sorcery down, come back to your ancient ways, come serve the Abanawa Shabbat Shemayim. You know what I mean? Our Father which art in heaven. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about over day? You feel me? So hold on, where I'm at. Injure us. They always reprimand us, injure us, oppress us, preach to us, call us bad Christians, deprive us all our happiness, which our ancestors enjoyed, with the hope that they will give us heaven. These are deceptions in order to subject us and holding us disposed after their manner. What can we expect except to be slaves? If now we kill all of them, we will remove such a heavy yoke immediately, and our bailiff will make the governor treat us well. If it happens that he does not come out badly, the multitude was convinced by his speech, and as a sign of their victory, they cut off Father Corporal's head, and they put it in the port on a lance as a trophy of their victory. And the body they threw into a forest where it was never found. So basically, I ain't gonna go on too long. We might skim through it, but right now, basically, they tired of the Christian life. That's why I don't understand today why the Gullah they rewrote they let them rewrote that New Testament. We got to destroy that. Talking to the chiefs of the Gullah, we got to destroy all that New Testament, and we got to fall under that the righteous covenant, the what our ancestors been under, mainly this the Old Testament. We got to follow the prophets, which is in the Old Testament. The New Testament is made of the apostles. Y'all get that? So basically, yeah, basically they was converting them over. And it goes on to say how they was chopping off them heads. If y'all could go and get this book, y'all could go and log on to, it's like in the Library of Congress, something like that. Yeah, I think it's Library of Congress. This is what I'm on. Yeah, the early history of the Creek Indians. So I'm gonna say Shabbat Shalom. I'm gonna say wake up, my Gullah people. You know what I mean? Coming from the Geechie tribe. Love to the Gullah coming from the Geechie Kusos, coming from the Kuso tribe. You know, we neighbors, so we got to get this thing right. Unless we're gonna continue to, we can't continue to let the other people govern our people. So this is just a message to the Gullah Geechies of who you were before the colonizers got here and before they converted you over. Yeah, and I seen that interview too on Crumb TV. They did one that was a good one too with the dude named Crip Jesus. Nigga named Crip Jesus, dog. Crip Jesus though, but he got a lot of information though. You know what I mean? I like his info though. What Crip Jesus said. He was saying that the Gullah people they are the original Hebrew. I'm still trying to break it down. It making sense what he's saying. He was saying that they was real tall people, and he said that they was real tall people, and that basically like they one of the originals. And I get it, I understand. It makes me think about, and I believe what he's saying. It adds up to what he's saying. You know what I mean? I keep my wisdom open. I never close my wisdom. But I keep on listening to what he's saying, because I know the Timucua Indians right there in Florida, they was a group of Indians who was really, really tall. They was really, really tall. So they was like they call them giants. And I get this from it's basically when they dug up some mounds in that area also. And they was Tamukan chiefs. A white dude, he talks about it too when he was talking about Jekyll Island and all of that too. They was really tall people. And but that's why I say it makes sense too. Now, did they travel over here a long time ago? They could have. You know what I mean? And like I say, everybody got to keep their wisdom open. I can't say I know it all. One person can't say they know it all. We only gonna get through it by putting our information together and really coming to it and trying to do it. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna say Shabbat Shalom. You know what I mean? We're gonna keep on scribing, keep on going. Shabbat Shalom. Well, it ain't even a Shabbat, but yeah, today is Monday, but we on the way to the Shabbat. So yeah, we still gonna do what we gotta do. I'm gonna say peace to the Uchi Kusos. Love you, Yahawah. You know what I mean? Tribe of Yahawah, Shabbat Shah, Yahawah, tribe of Judah. You already know how we get down and how we coming. Shabbat Shalom. Well, it ain't even like I said, but yeah, peace.